Hayden, Coach Sher was just describing your play as Bobby Boucher, but a lot smarter. Could you, I guess, describe your playing style, maybe where you picked up that from? And because Coach Pittman was saying last year, you're kind of an old school throwback guy.
I can thank my dad for that. I'll tell it as a story. But when I was little, we lived in Atlanta, and my dad, as crazy as this sounds, my dad would say, "Hey, if you make a kid cry today in practice, or you knock a kid out of practice or the game, I'll take you to Dairy Queen." And so I was like, all right, let's go. And so I would just try and go out there and just knock somebody out. And then after practice, I'd go up to him and, "Dad, we're going to Dairy Queen. We're going to Dairy Queen. I knocked somebody out today." So I think that's just kind of translated into, my college play. But I also think the game's meant to be played a certain way, and I appreciate individuals that play it that way. And I think it's a hard, fast, physical game, and I think there's only one way to do it.
Okay, for both of you guys, can you talk about Chris Paul and Jackson Woodard while they're coming on, and Coach kept mentioning Andrew Parker too. Talk about him. Those three, if you can, both of you.
Yeah. So AP, Woody, and Pooh. So how they play is kind of similar. They're all Mikes. They all are kind of guys who can hit well. They can run well. The one thing that I'll classify Woody and Pooh together, Chris Paul. Those are two guys that need to mature and need to continue to grow and continue to get into the book and continue to they have a lot of stepping up, and they've done it. They've taken a huge leap this fall camp just from spring to now. They've been guys who you can even see they're writing more notes. You can see they're knowing what's going on. Woodard's kind of got that mentality of he's trying to prove everybody right, or prove everybody wrong, that he can play here. So AP, he's a little bit of a guy that you can lean on right now. Like, he's a guy who's doing really well. He's causing a lot of turnovers. He's really stepping up. His energy's kind of it's contagious. So when you see him doing really well and see him kind of going off, you can look towards him and say, all right, it's fun to be around. It's fun to play with. So those are three guys that are continuing to step up, and it's fun to watch them grow up.
Yeah, Grant nailed it. Those young guys I love what I see out of those young guys, and you can tell that they're learning very fast, and I love that they bring a lot of energy to practice every day. They each have their own sort of specialties and bring a different sort of skill sets to the table, and so it's going to be fun to watch them grow and progress as players.
Your dad was a preacher, by the way, when he was telling you to make kids cry. How's your shoulder?
Shoulder's good. My shoulder's good. Yeah.
What's been the journey that you've been on with that? What happened, and how good was the off season for you?
I've had 2 shoulder surgeries. One in 2019 after the 2018 surgery, 2018 season, and then one after the 2019 season on my left shoulder. And then I just made it an emphasis in this past offseason that, if I want to play again, I'm going to have to strengthen my shoulder, get healthy. And it was kind of the only thing weighing me down as a player. And so I made it my mission to get as strong as I possibly could be, and so that's kind of what I did.
You had a decision to make about whether to come back or not. It might have taken a little bit longer than some of the other guys. Was that part of something that played into it?
Yeah, it was. There got a point, to be honest, at the end of the season where I was really in a lot of pain, and I was playing through some significant injury in my shoulder, and it was really bothering me, and it was in my head, honestly, a lot, and I didn't know if I wanted to keep doing it for my own sake. But to be honest, I got out in the real world, and I was like, man, I really miss football a lot. And so I just made it my mission to get strong again, and I can thank Coach Walker and the rest of his staff for that, because I feel like they did a great job.
Aiden, what was your go-to thing at Dairy Queen when your dad would take you there after you made somebody cry?
Oreo Blizzard, always Oreo Blizzard.
Are you still a Dairy Queen guy?
Can't you tell?
Yeah. Hey,
talking about
hey, love Dairy Queen, but I'll give you a little hole in the wall, a little spot that not a lot of people know about. Brahms. No one goes to Brahms. I love Brahms. It's the best.
Do you have an NIL deal with them?
I don't. I should reach out to him, honestly. That's a great idea.
You should now.
Yeah.
Grant, what do you think of Hayden? And, Grant, when you first came here, there wasn't a lot of depth in the linebacker room. There was some good talent, but not a lot of depth. Looks like you guys have really built that up. You got quality and quantity.
Yeah. I feel like y'all's job has been pretty easy for linebackers the last 4 years. All you've talked about is depth, and that's the truth. It really was. The depth was the hardest part for us. And now that we're finally to a point to where we can say, like, we're not afraid to play those guys. We're not afraid to put in different linebackers right now. And so that's really been, and I've spoke about it many times, like it really, we got to be able to get our ones and get them off the field. And if it's by putting other linebackers in, or if it's by getting off the field on a third down efficiency, it's that. But the fact that we have a lot more linebackers in right now, and the way we're playing is at a high level at every single like position in that linebacker group, it really just elevates everybody's just the ability to play. Like, everyone's stepping up in a certain way. Like, I'm competing with them, they're competing with me. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. So it means a lot. Like, especially me, I was forced to play early. I had to play early just because we didn't have depth. It was Dre Scooter than me. So like, we had to be able to play early. But like guys like Hayden, like you asked me how I think about him. Like I see a guy like that who could have easily went and got a job somewhere. Like, there's many people that want him to work for them. And so like when you get a guy like that back on the team, you get an older guy like who's your age and like can play football and can play at a very high level and has proven it many times. It just shows you how well of an organization this is ran by Pittman and the coaching staff. So like if he didn't want it, he wouldn't have came back and played for anybody else. So it shows right there what type of organization we have. But like, it means a ton to us, like the other older guys who came back and decided like we can do this now. To have other guys buy in, like kind of like Myron Cunningham and other guys come back, it's a really big step in the right direction for this organization.
It's Dede kind of flirted with the transfer portal last spring, and did you all talk to him at all, and kind of what does it mean that he did come back?
Yeah, I talked to Dede throughout it. The big thing with him is he's just trying to find the best possibility for him and the best place to be for him, and he ended up realizing it was here. And he got offers. Like he was looked at by other schools. He got offers. He wanted to go do it. His big thing is he wants to be able to play football for a while, and he's getting his degree, or he's got his degree, and he's looking at other things. So like the thing for him is he wanted to be the best possibility for here, and he just wanted to be here. At the end of the day, he knows exactly what I just said. He knows that we can be great here. So it was really good for him to come back too, because he has been the guy who's been with us. He's moved around from safety to linebacker, and he's learned the defense so much. And right now he's playing probably the best ball he's ever played.
Bumper had cracked ribs. Hayden, your shoulder was wrecked. I don't know what was going on with you last year, but you had some kind of bionic looking elbow thing. What all were you dealing with last year?
Yeah, so I tore some stuff up in my elbow on both sides. Nothing that required surgery, because I ended up playing for 11 weeks with it torn. So the brace was fine. That ended up being something that I just played with the pain, I guess. Like, it really, I've said it before, like you would have to cut my arm off to get me off the field, but I felt like it screwed me over with some picks, but I'm just glad I was still able to tackle.
You had that good one against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
We talked to you about Coach Scherer, but I wanted to ask you at Media Days, but I wanted to ask you about Coach Scherer. What do you think of him? I mean, he's just a few years older than you and coaching you.
Amazing. And honestly, I haven't had a position coach like him that's just connected with his players like he does. And we have a very tight-knit group of linebackers. We're very, very close, and it makes the learning environment very, very fun to be in. We're a real tight group, and Coach Scheer is the one that he's the reason because of that. Everyone loves him. We appreciate how much he cares about us and pours into us. But as a coach, I mean, he's played in this system. You know, he knows the system so well. So for him to teach us is, I mean, you know, it's easy. He knows the ins and outs. He literally played in it, and so as a player, he can tell you exactly what you need to do to be successful in this defense, and that's what's awesome about it.
Dede's a kid that we don't get very often, but every weekend in June when they hosted recruits, or when they had recruits in on official visits, every weekend somebody, at least one, said they were hosted by Dede. What about his personality makes him a good host for recruits?
Well, he's got one of the biggest personalities on the team. Extremely contagious spirit, great guy to be around, just fills the locker room up with his energy. One of the most selfless people on the team, will give the shirt off his back for you, cares about everyone in the locker room, and just an outstanding teammate, even better player. Can't even begin to stop at what Didi would do for anyone. I mean, the guy's unbelievable, and you'd see why he's a host. To be a host for a recruit, you got to be a stud. So Didi, I mean, he's obviously one of a kind.
Yeah. To piggyback on that, Didi's one of the guys who is unique in his own way. He comes from Florida. Like he may not sound like you, may not talk like you, but every single person in that room relates to him because they know he works hard as everybody. He pushes as hard as anybody. He could have been gone and out of here. Like he could have said, no, I don't want to be a Razorback no more. And the fact that he's still here fighting with us, and he's never once whined about it. He's never once said, I should be playing. He's just continued to have been like, you know what, I'm so happy for you, Grant, or I'm so happy for Bumper or Hayden. He goes, he's the best teammate, like the best guy to be around. And it really, honestly, because I was in the quads with him, and like to see like us just kind of grow up and to kind of be together, like it was like I've told him right before when he entered his name in transfer, I was like, you'll always be my brother. Like no matter what, you'll always be my brother. And so like that's what I mean and what I said exactly how it was.
For both of you guys, the coaches poll came out today. 6 teams in there on your schedule. Probably not a big shock. Maybe the shock was there weren't more of them. But what are your thoughts on that?
I actually didn't see it. Did you see it? I didn't see any of the teams. That doesn't shock me at all. We're the number one team or number one hardest schedule. So I figured at least some of them would be on there. I don't think we really go into the season looking at anybody's rank. I know it's crazy that like you play a certain team or a couple years ago we played the number 1 ranked team 3 times throughout the year or whatever. But like that, we don't go into the games looking at that or like caring about that. Really, we're just really focused on us right now, especially in fall camp.
I mean, we play in the SEC. Odds are a lot of teams that we play are going to be ranked, and every week is just nameless, faceless opponent to us.
They are number 1? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, guys, y'all probably have a deeper perspective than maybe anybody on the team about Arkansas football, where it's been, where it can be. What do you see about where you are now, year 2 under Sam Pittman, that gives you hope and should give the fans hope on the direction you're going, please? Both of y'all.
I just think that I just love how tough and physical our team is. This is definitely the toughest, most physical team I've ever played on, and I think just to have success in this league, that's the number one thing you got to have. Just bottom line, zero doubts about it. And so to see the guys that we have in the trenches right now going at it every day in practice, I mean, it's exciting to watch. And so to see kind of how my career has moved in that direction, and how Coach Pittman got here, and that's kind of transformed into what it is now. It's really exciting for what's to come.
Yeah. Pittman, he brought back football. Like, Arkansas is supposed to be the hardworking, the tough, the physical. Like, you go look at any good Arkansas football team. Like, Darren McFadden was fast, yeah, but he would run people over still. Like, you go look at Felix Jones, the same thing. Like, Peyton Hillis. Like, you go look at Arkansas when they're at its prime. Like, you go look at smash mouth football, and like that's what we want to be. We want to be a team that hits hard. We want to be a team that's not afraid of anybody. Bring them into our house or bring them into where we go there. We want to be able to play football because it's a simple game, and we just got to be able to make it simple and just run and hit again.
You came in a year later, right? So this number may be a little different, but Grant, I was wondering if you can remember how many linebackers coaches you play. I can't even keep track. It's been so much turnover. Can you name them?
Yeah, I can name them. Coach Hargraves for 2 years, and then Coach Chavis for 2 years, and then Coach Rhodes, and then Coach Shear. DCs were Coach Rob Smith, Coach Paul Rhodes, Coach John Chavis, and then Coach Odom. Yep. And then head coaches were Coach Bielema, Coach Morris, Coach Lunny, Coach Pittman.
What is you guys' bond like off the field? And then how might that help you guys, make it translate to the field, when you guys share it?
Funny story, actually. Yesterday, Bump and I, we were playing pool. So, like, we have a close friend group. Me, Hayden, Bumper, John Steven, Jake Yurchek for the football. We have a really close unit. Like we vouched pretty much this whole fall camp to not go home. Like if we have an hour break, not go home, get a nap. We literally sit up there and play pool and talk because we know it's our last one. We want to enjoy each other with our time with each other. Me and Bumper were sitting there when we were all playing pool, sitting there talking, and Bump looked at me, and it was probably 60 to 70 people just hanging out in our media room, like our little play area. And we were sitting there, and he looked at me and goes, "This is the closest our team has ever been." And I looked at him and I was like, you know what? Like, this is my 6th year here, and I've never seen this before. And I was like, this is pretty cool to see. So, like, that alone right there, like, it just shows our dynamic of our friendship group, I guess what I said earlier. But, like, of our team, it's literally a big friend unit. There's not a single group of people that don't talk to the other people. Like, there's so many guys that just engulfed into each other's relationships, and it's fun to see, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my best friends in the world right here. I was in this cat's wedding. So, yeah, about as close as you can get. But and he'll be in mine, too. So we got a very tight-knit group. I mean, just going to really enjoy it. Love being here every day with these guys. So one last ride.
Just what kind of pool player is Bumper Pool?
I guess to his name, I guess he does do good enough. Yeah, that's all I can say. He does good enough. He doesn't do too good when me and Hayden are against him, but he's been on a little hot streak here recently. Yeah, Hayden and Czech have been on a team, and they've been getting beat by Bumper and John Steven. John Steven's a little pool shark, so you got to watch out for him. But Bumper, he gets just right along on John Steven's coattails, I guess. You can tell him I said that too.
Also be on video everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess both y'all, I mean, you've seen, a new head coach come in and want kind of his own stamp and on players. What's it meant to you all that Pittman really recruited you all twice? I mean, almost when he first got here, and then again as bonus seniors.
You mean twice, by like when the first time he was here?
When he first got here, he kind of was big on trying to keep the team that he inherited.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So. It really, like, it means a lot, but, like, the thing with Pittman is he doesn't have to, quote-unquote, recruit. He's just himself, and that is why he is a good recruiter. He is so genuine and so himself that he doesn't have to sit there and tell you one thing, and you never think, wow, is he telling me the truth or not? He's so genuine that you never think at a time, I don't know if I want to play for this guy. And that's the thing. He is such a good ball coach, but an even better man. So he didn't have to recruit us to come back. He didn't tell me, Grant, we can do this for you. We can do this for you. We can do this. He never once did. I just saw exactly what type of guy he was, and I knew I wanted to play for him. And I think as a recruit that could be coming to Arkansas, you see what type of guy Pittman is. That's what he is every single day. That's what we play for. That's what I chose to come back and play for, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, exactly what Grant said. Guy's just himself, the most honest, genuine person, one of the most honest, genuine people I've ever been around. He doesn't have to say a certain thing to get you to come back. He's just like, hey man, we're here if you want to come be a Hog again, And I mean, for me that was easy. I love him to death, and I couldn't thank him enough for letting me come back on the team. So the guy's amazing.
Any more questions for these two? Good. All right, thanks, fellas.